Okay, we all know it was just a matter of time until I reviewed a Leica M camera on this channel. I finally managed to get my hands on a Leica M9, and right after I had my hands on it, I just sprinted past security out of the store. Leaving the state felt like a good idea after that, so I went on a little trip.
It's a big old world, ain't got no limit. Invitations right here, come get it. Everybody come on, everybody come on. You're gonna have to see it all to believe it. So let loose and don't fight the feeling. Everybody come on, 1, 2, 3, go.
The first stop on this journey was the Heizer event. This was easily the coolest automotive event I've ever been to. The density of amazing cars there and the awesome location made this day another case of photography on easy mode. There was this super cool workshop there where they restore cars, and I had so much fun taking photos in here because it was absolutely beautiful and there was so much interesting stuff everywhere. As you can see from my studio, beautiful chaos is where I thrive. Okay, I think you actually can't see it, but yeah, I hid all of the chaos down there. I can officially confirm the Leica M9 works well for automotive photography, but at this point the CIA, Camera Theft Investigation Agency, was breathing down my neck, so for my next jurisdiction evading trick I went to Switzerland to do some street and landscape photography. I actually did something very stupid on the way there. I was doing some university homework on the train, so I have a backup plan for when my YouTube dreams ultimately fail. And when my stop came, I quickly put my laptop into my backpack and headed off the train. About a minute of walking through the train station later, I realized, yeah, I had left my suitcase on the train. So I sprinted back, and thank God the train was still standing there so I could get my suitcase back. But man, sometimes my brain gives me some interesting side quests to do. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you know that I love going to museums. Not to look at art, because obviously I have the arts education level of a walnut, but for street photography. Because museums often have really nice architecture and a lot of people moving predictably. I didn't really film much on this day because I just wanted to focus on taking photos, and I'm really happy with how these shots turned out. The combination of really cool architecture and good lighting, as well as this really interesting light installation, just made for such good shots. By the way, all of the images in this video are edited with my Cinematic Street Essentials Lightroom preset pack, and on some images I also added halations using my Halationify tool. I rarely have any sponsors for my videos, and despite saving money on stealing the Leica instead of buying it, I put a lot of money and time into my videos. So if you want to support me and get some really nice presets along the way, I'm gonna leave a hefty discount for you at the link down below, and you can use my web app that I recently programmed for adding halations to your images completely free of charge. At this point, I had confirmed that the M9 is good for automotive photography and street photography. But what about landscape photography? To find out, I had to head up a mountain. But first, let's talk about the M9 a bit more. Obviously, the M9 isn't the youngest anymore. It's been a while since the magic Leica Oompa Loompas threw this bad boy together. Released in 2009, September will mark the M9's 15th birthday. But we all know that Leica's cameras simply are timeless. There's exactly one reason to buy a digital Leica M camera, and that's because you want a rangefinder camera more than you want to put food on the table for your family. And to be honest, I get it. Call me an objectophile, but if the M9 isn't one of the most beautiful cameras you've ever seen, I think you should unsubscribe right now. I don't think I can trust your judgment. The lens I have in front here is the Vogtländer 35mm f1.4, which is just
beautiful.
I also brought a Leica 90mm lens, which I carried everywhere but didn't end up using a single time. Using a digital camera with a rangefinder system means that you're limiting yourself to manual focus only, but on the other hand, exactly that offers you one of the most enjoyable photography experiences you can get, and I was having an absolute blast with it.
Monday morning blues, I open my eyes and I'm greeted by a cute little smile. The world is new with you by my side. Everything is beautiful. Tuesday afternoon, I'm calling you home just to hear your voice on the phone. I think of you and I'm not alone. You are everything. Thursday, Friday, life is a bliss. Waking up with you in my arms, I've got it all, nothing's amiss. Everything is beautiful Sunday.
After a while of hiking, okay, I gotta admit, it wasn't a while and it wasn't really hiking. It was about a half-hour leisurely stroll followed by goulash suppe. But afterwards we headed back down from the mountain because I was scared that the camera theft investigation agency was gonna find me through the BFA that they had placed on the mountain. Big fucking antenna. After missing the ferry, we found ourselves stranded for an hour in this small town by the lake. And I am so glad we missed the ferry because these might even be my favorite images from the entire trip.
It sings of you and the things that you do, 'cause you're everything under the sky so blue. I found my piece of heaven, spending my days with you.
This image right here is probably my favorite from the entire day. The popping colors and the palm trees give me this mid-century feeling, and for once I actually nailed the composition. This photo alone is the reason why I could never buy a monochrome only camera. I mean, just look at the colors, look at them. One thing I really wanted to find out during this week of using the M9 is if there is something special going on with the sensor and the color science. Because there is a large number of people on the internet that swear there is some magic going on in the M9 CCD sensor that supposedly gives it a color science so good that it's comparable to straight up injecting crayons. But I was skeptical. I have shot with Leica cameras before, and I knew that the Leica color science is a bit more on the cool and contrasty side. I definitely prefer warmer tones for my work, but when I first imported images into Lightroom from the M9, I thought, wow, those are even bluer than I had expected. That was until I realized that for some reason, the standard daylight white balance setting on the M9 was 4600 Kelvin. I don't know about you, but in my book, daylight white balance means something more in the direction of 5600 Kelvin. Well, anyways, I only shot in RAW, so I could easily change the white balance in Lightroom, but it still threw me off at first. In the end, I'm super happy with the colors on the final images after I edited them, but I honestly cannot tell you if it's the CCD sensor, my Lightroom presets, the color rendering of the lens I was using, or a combination of the three, or if it was just the insanely beautiful location. I really wish I had an answer for you. I'm still skeptical how much magic there is in the sensor because the unedited images really aren't to my taste, but I just can't deny there is something special about the final edited images, and I can't rule out that it might be some magic sensor fairy dust. But I don't know, I also inhaled a lot of exhaust fumes afterwards on the ferry ride, so my judgment might have been clouded.
Under the sky so blue, I found my piece of heaven, spending my days with you. You are my piece of heaven.
Using the Leica M9 isn't actually as smooth of an experience as you would expect from Leica maybe. It definitely has some quirks. The screen really isn't great, but okay, it's from 2009. It's very finicky about SD cards. It would only take super old 2 and 4 gigabyte cards. Like I was running around with these 2 gigabyte cards the whole time. It's supposed to take up to 32 gigabyte cards according to the manual, but it just didn't feel like using mine. Additionally, the light meter is a bit inconsistent and the menu doesn't make a lot of sense in many cases. Quickly adjusting the exposure compensation setting felt like playing one of those dancing games at an arcade. But it being a bit clunky to use in some regards is also part of its charm. For a while now, I've been looking for a camera that shoots digital but handles more like a film camera, and the Leica M9 is definitely, out of all cameras I've tested on this channel up until now, closest to a digital film-like shooting experience, which I really enjoyed. I don't know if it was the allegedly magic M9 sensor, just the novel experience of using a digital rangefinder camera for the first time, or the insane Leica build quality, but I definitely fell in love a bit with the Leica M9. There's just something about it that I can't really articulate. So, should you buy a Leica M9 nowadays? Yes, definitely. I think the film-like shooting experience it offers makes this an especially good buy in 2024 and the years to follow, because there just aren't many cameras that can offer that experience. But in the end, it doesn't matter what kind of a camera you use. It doesn't matter if it's Canon, Sony, Fujifilm or Leica, as long as it's a camera that makes you want to go somewhere and take cool photos. When you're taking photos for fun and not for work, it's time to take your eyes off the spec sheets and just pick a camera you find enjoyable to use. Okay, that's it. Go watch another video or I'm gonna report you to the Gear Theft Investigation Agency. And with that threat, I must leave you. Goodbye.